You got a lot. Here's your turn list. Once you click on that button, you can bring this up. You can also get there from the other button I showed you in the previous screen. The avoid button. Like I told you, it needs it. It's serious. So if you need to go 169 miles on I-75 South, you click avoid, it's going to reroute your trip to not include I-75 South. And it'll be there for the rest of your life. Use it wisely. You can avoid up to 10 sections. So if you know there's construction detours in a certain area, it really is a good feature, but just remember once you've done it so you can go back and undo it. Never mind. All right. How many people thought you just couldn't do anything with this stupid thing while you're moving? Features that are grayed out definitely cannot be accessed while the vehicle is in motion. Features that are not grayed out, and there will be 3 on the enter destination screen, for example, that you can use. But what you can do always while moving is you can always click on the home icon. While moving, you can always touch on the map and select an address to guide to, an intersection to guide to. You can touch on any of the points of interest and choose them to guide or for waypoints. Stored locations, personal visits. How many people actually use the stored locations? Stored locations are pretty neat features. They're places that you go frequently, but maybe not all the time. Maybe they're places that you go to when you're away on vacation, and you want to remember them. Maybe they're marked points. It's places that you've passed that you want to stop at on the way back, things that you've seen in an area that you want to visit. Strongly encourage the use of stored locations because the first menu page of each of the stored locations features personal, business, entertainment, and marked points can all be accessed while the vehicle is in motion. If you click on any of those, it'll bring up your top 5, and it will always have the previous destination up there. Preset destinations are those 5, numbered 1 through 5 down the bottom of the main destination screen. And when you have it up, you can always just cancel the guidance. Good song comes on the radio, you don't want the turn-by-turn voice interrupting it. Cancel guidance, and you can actually also turn voice guidance off. Okay, common problems, and I'm just recapping a little bit of the must-dos that we talked about. Satellite location calibration, wrong map needed, the wrong region selected. Absolutely the #1 cause of problems that people ever contact me about. Root options and user settings, not allowing major roads. Not narrowing the search results enough, giving up. I've had more people tell me that their street isn't in the database, and I'll go out to my car, get the nav system up on the screen, I'll bring up their street, I'll take a photograph of it, I'll email it to them, and I don't hear from them anymore. But it's generally there, and it's just because you're not narrowing your search results enough. Database context versus user entered context. I live on a road called WG Tally Road. WG is in William G. Tally Road. Most, either Navtech or TeleAtlas, don't know it's West G. Tally Road, or it's simply G. Tally Road. And that goes back to previous when I said, give it as much accurate information as you have. If you put in Tally, it's going to bring up all of the possibilities for Tally in the search list. If I start out by telling it W, and the database doesn't have it as WG Tally Road, it's not going to find it. Leftover waypoints and destinations. We talked a little bit about it. The nav system is very, very particular about your routing and how you pass by your waypoints and how you pass by your destination. You always want to check a screen, and I'm going to show you a screenshot of it coming up. You want that to be 0 unless you know you've entered something. Because if that stored waypoint says 105, 205, or 305, it's all places that it's going to try to take you before it even begins trying to take you where you want to go. And this is why I said restore system defaults when you get the car home, particularly if it's a used Corvette. Past waypoints. If there's 3 up there and there's not 3 there, you haven't reached them, it's going to keep trying to get you back to it. You can also add waypoints from this feature manually, or as I indicated, you can touch on the nav screen and do it. Update your nav DVDs. A lot of the frustration that comes out of this is that people have a 2005 Corvette, they're still using the version 1 map database. Roads change, developments get added, businesses close. Don't be frustrated by your data. Update the nav DVD. gmnavdisc.com or call 877-NAVDISC. Have your vehicle VIN available. You can do it all right online. You enter your VIN, you enter your year and model, and it's going to bring up what available updates are out there for your vehicle. So very, very important. And that's all through the GM Navdisc Center. Here's what you know and what you can use when you go back out to your car. Take a look at what version you have. Version 8 is going to be coming out probably more towards the end of this year, if I had to guess. But 2005 was version 1 with GM part number, and it was 1 DVD. At a minimum, think about trying to find a version 4. It's dramatically expanded your points of interest and your major geographic region areas. There's a lot more information, so much so that they had to go up from 1 DVD to 2. This is neat too. Everybody jokes about the Corvette tax. Everybody has to pay more because they drive a Corvette. They just see us coming. I don't fully buy into that. It's going to be more a factor of volume leverage. However, with that said, the nav DVD that works in the Corvette also works on all these vehicles and vice versa. So if you're searching one of those auction sites for a used navigation disc, these work. And they will work in the cars. As I was saying, two major sources for GPS map data, Navtech and TeleAtlas. Corvette OEM uses a Denso navigation radio that uses map DVD provided by TeleAtlas. Can't read it very well here, but when you actually see this in PDF form back on your computer, it's a link that you can click to. Report map errors. If you've tried to go someplace and it's not there, tell them. The only way they know about it is if you tell them that your street's not there yet. I've lived in my house for 20 years, but my street's not here. Let them know so that in future updates, it'll get into the system so everybody doesn't have to keep dealing with the same frustrations over and over again. And yeah, it's probably not our responsibility. They're providing the service, but it's a good thing to do because it's ultimately going to help you. It's ultimately going to help our folks. All right, features and facts. Everybody knows it's a center-mounted touchscreen. You can't help but notice that. OEM integration with heads-up display. How many people knew that when your HUD is in street mode, your turn-by-turn directions are going to pop up on your HUD? All right, good. Everybody uses that? Great safety feature. Don't have to take your eyes off the road. Look right through the heads-up display. Full integration with the audio system. That was what sold me on the nav system long before I ever started learning how to use it. Was the fact that I could control all the audio features right through it. Voice recognition. Everybody know that the system has voice recognition capability? No? There's a push-to-talk button right on this bezel on the left-hand side. Push and hold that, a chime will sound. The tutorial that I'm giving you today actually has a full list of the audio commands that you can speak and have the unit follow it. A couple of caveats. The cockpit of a Corvette is a fairly noisy environment. The microphone is on the A pillar up to your left shoulder, right near the windshield. Try to have the windows up when you go to interact with the voice. Try to lean in a little bit closer to the microphone. Otherwise, it may not recognize, and that can lead to some fun, but it can also lead to some frustration. I talked a little bit about the dead reckoning capability, and to me, I can't talk enough about this. This is one thing that your portable unit hanging from your windshield is never going to do. Because if it doesn't know how fast the vehicle is moving, and it doesn't know the angle your steering wheel is turned at, and it doesn't know your tires are rotating, it won't advance the map screen. It just doesn't care to, it doesn't know. So when your portable units lose GPS signal, they lose their ability to get you where you want to go. The OEM unit continues with its dead reckoning capability because it's tied into all of those other systems in the car. And the map screen is going to keep right on scroll and short of that little GPS icon with the arrow through it that pops up on the screen. you have no idea because the map just keeps right on moving, taking you towards your destination. 48 state and Canada navigation capabilities. Unfortunately, at least as of this writing, nothing for Hawaii, nothing for Alaska. And that kind of concludes the interaction with the nav portion with just a couple of fun features and facts. To date, and I know these numbers are going to be updated with the next presentation, Harlan usually comes out and presents the option penetration to date for the 2011 model years. I don't have that data. But through the 2010 model year, there's 74,139 of us that actually have the nav system. I don't know if it was all of those people, but I know 59,262 people have downloaded my tutorial on using the nav system. But you can see we're in pretty good company. The option penetration for the nav in any given model year is about 50%. This is Corvette only. This is specific to our system. Yeah, that's exactly correct. Yeah, this is just Corvette OEM, the particular radio that we're talking about today. All right, I'm gonna rely on you right down here in front. Here's my feature comparison. Tell me if I'm lying. All right, I've got all day. This isn't so much to pick on. I chose Garmin because that happened to be the unit that I had at home to compare to. But I show this to people because when I start hearing that X brand does everything better, or the OEM doesn't do this and doesn't do that, or doesn't do this, I learned pretty quick that I should point out some of these things because there's a lot of folks that just don't know what it's capable of because they tried it, couldn't find it, got frustrated by it. So, look at this. Bluetooth, 2009, you've got a Corvette with now, you've got Bluetooth. For us before, it's a little bit frustrating. And the portable ones have Bluetooth now. Multi-point routing, home icon, input by phone number. My Garmin didn't do that. Does now? Okay. The Garmin that I had to compare to didn't do it. But you can see, maybe you could lean a little bit towards the graph and say it's not as bad as you thought it was. Does anyone think it's maybe a little bit better than when we started this morning? All right. Anybody want to go out and try some of the features that we talked about this morning? And I'm going to give you a test. If you're not back in an hour, I'll know I didn't do it. What I wanted to tell you, what I told you quickly at the beginning, is that it's based on a tutorial called Using the Corvette Navigation System. It's available for download on my website in PDF format. It's available a couple of different ways. One is in individual parts. There's 6 sections to it in 10 chapters. It runs about 61 pages, cover to cover. So you can download that in PDF. You can either download it 6 individual parts, or it's also available in one large document. I also have a quick new mobile device set up. If you go to this link here, you can actually bring it up from your smartphone in a slightly easier to read format. It's a little bit lower resolution, so if you're someplace and need a quick reference on how to get to it, you didn't feel like printing out 60 pages on your inkjet printer at home, you can reference almost all of the features right from the mobile access link. And I've got a copy of the tutorial for everybody in attendance today, as long as there's not more than 100 of you, because then I'm in trouble. But I've got 100 of them right here in the box. So just please swing down if you want to get one, and I'll make sure that everybody gets one. And that concludes the formal part of my presentation, and I'm just going to hang out and do some question and answer if folks have some questions. And I'm going to ask Mike to come down, and Jack's got a microphone, and if we could just ask you to, they're going to hand you a microphone, and they're going to have you speak into the microphone so we can make sure that I can hear your question and everybody else can also hear it. Can everybody hear me if I just talk like this?
One of my frustrations is no location or bad location. At case in point, the Hilton Garden Inn, it took me into the middle of an apartment complex. Could not find the hotel at all. but cities that aren't in there at all. There's a place in Daytona Beach area. It's Wilbur by the Sea is a small town. Couldn't find it. I couldn't put in a number for a street address because it wasn't on the screen.
In a case like that.
Oh, you're gonna need that mic. Go back here.
All right. In a case like that, and everybody heard the question because he was mic'd, it's just a matter of my answer not being loud enough. In a case like that for the city, the database inconsistency or the database error, unfortunately, sort of stuck with that. It's tele-atlas. Report it when you encounter it. Because Hilton Garden Inn is new. It's only been in town, I think, for 3 years. And I know that sounds like a lifetime, but when you consider where they are in the update cycle and what they're going through, they're probably working on already future nav disks. And I don't know what tele-atlas' schedule is by any stretch. But in the case of not being able to find the city, I encourage the select from the map, and I also encourage the intersection entry, because finding a street number of a street that you can't find obviously becomes a major problem. But if you can find an intersecting street or a nearby street, or even find the name of the adjacent city, push into the middle of it, and set your destination for that point, and then go forward from there.
Hello.
One comment on that was, if you can't find it like that, use the phone number. It usually take you right there.
Yeah.
A comment on the feature from the Garmin. It gives you the speed on the road you're on, speed limit on the road. I don't see that on the OEM unit.
No, the OEM unit does not have that, partly due to the technology. That technology wasn't really out back in 2003, 2004, when this unit was likely being developed. You're probably going to see other things like real-time traffic and weather, because those are all tying into database services. They used to be, MSN used to have a database service that they provided. Unfortunately, this system does not interact with those. It's purely talking to the satellite for coordinates.
Here. Paul, is there any way I can get a voice recognition that understands the southern twang? What do y'all mean by that?
Uh-oh, free for all.
Well, I guess it's over. Thank you. Hold on, got one other question over here.
Okay.
Paul, how do you adjust for screen wash from the sun? I tried contrast and brightness, and it still washes the screen a lot.
The screen wash is tough. I don't have any good advice for that. Hand over the top of it is very useful. Turn away from the sun, not being a smart aleck. There's not a tinted screen that I found that you can put over it that helps. It's the nature of the beast with the resolution of the screen and the angle that the